Hey guys, Andrew here with another quick clip, and this week I want to talk to you all about color mixing. I was actually about to get back to this still life painting, and I've got a brand new palette that I'm playing with. So how exactly do we select those colors on the palette, and what do these colors do? That's what we're going to focus on this week. And I'd like to dedicate this clip to Hobo, nice name by the way, and Rodelio. Thanks guys for hitting me up in the YouTube comments section, and I hope you enjoy this quick clip. So let's get into it. Now, you've probably come across the term limited palette before, but what does that mean? I think a limited palette has to fill the right color niches to allow for mixing a wide range of colors, yet keeping the palette limited, small, concise. I've limited my palette to about 10 colors here, but on the way to finding these essential colors as part of my essential palette, I had to run through some tests, and these tests revealed a few things. So I know with any given palette, I'm going to need a range of colors. I love earth tones, so I'm going to start with a couple of my favorite earth tones, burnt umber and burnt sienna. I also know I'm going to need a yellow of some description, as well as some reds, some blues, and maybe a green. So I start there and I try to work out what would fill those color spaces and what colors do I think would mix really well with the others. So then, following a selection and just winging it in the beginning, I decide to paint a color wheel. Now, essentially we start off with our red, yellow, and blue, which are primary colors. These then, in turn, will mix secondary colors. The red and the yellow will go together to make orange, the yellow and the blue will go together to make green, and the blue and red will make violet or purple. So, can my palette of colors mix some really nice secondary colors? I'm looking specifically for oranges, greens, and purples. And I'm going to blend across the red to the yellow to the blue, and the blue back to the red to see if these colors will reveal themselves. Now, I've got a great range of secondary colors with this color wheel, but I've identified a bit of a problem. My oranges are just slightly drab, and I think this might be due to the fact that I only have one yellow. I think it's time to kill this palette. So I am gonna drop burnt sienna. I know what you're thinking, it's one of my favorite colors too. But I feel that I might be able to make an equivalent with my other 10 colors, or the other 9 colors on the palette, and I'm going to introduce cadmium yellow deep. So I've got a cool yellow, being aerolide lemon, and now I've got a warm yellow, cadmium yellow deep. And let's see what this can do with a new color wheel. And already it's revealing some beautifully hot oranges and some really intense saturation. That's exactly what I'm after. So what is on my palette now exactly? I've got burnt umber, titanium white, aerolide lemon, cadmium yellow deep, pyrrole red, quinacridone magenta, ultramarine blue, phthalo blue, cobalt teal, and phthalo green. So now that we have our colors, let's revisit some of these secondaries again and take a closer look at our greens. I'm going to start off with aerolide lemon and mix this into phthalo blue. It reveals an amazingly intense green. Then, if I take ultramarine blue to try to make a violet, when this mixes across with quinacridone magenta, an amazingly electric violet appears. If I take pyrrole red and mix this in with the cadmium yellow deep, I get a really hot orange. Already I'm starting to see that this palette has got enormous potential for mixing secondary colors. Let's try slightly different combinations of our greens, oranges, and violets. If I take ultramarine blue and mix this with aerolide yellow, it will make a slightly more desaturated green. If I take quinacridone magenta and mix this in with cadmium yellow deep, I can make a really interesting, hot, dark, orangey red. If I take my phthalo blue and mix this into my pyrrole red, my violet is non-existent, but what it has revealed is I can make an incredibly dark color by combining these two. I'm going to start off with my primaries again, working with yellow, red, and blue, and this time work only with my cool colors. Aerolide yellow being a cool yellow, quinacridone magenta, ultramarine blue being a cool blue. When I mix my aerolide lemon into my ultramarine blue, an amazing green is revealed. And then if I mix my ultramarine blue into my quinacridone magenta, again, I get some incredibly intense violets. Similarly, I can make some great clean oranges with the quinacridone magenta when mixed into the aerolite lemon. Now let's have a look at our warm colors here. I'm going to use cadmium yellow deep, pyrrole red, and phthalo blue. The phthalo blue, when mixed into cadmium yellow deep, does make a really intense green, but the tone you'll notice has dropped significantly. When I mix my phthalo blue and my pyrrole red, as we've already discovered, this will go incredibly dark. But I also get a really nice orange here when I mix the cadmium yellow deep with the pyrrole red. It's been very interesting doing these tests with my primary colors because it's revealed some really interesting combinations. Now with this essential palette, you'll notice there's not many earth tones. In fact, I've only got one, burnt umber. I've gotten rid of everything else because I felt I might be able to mix it. Now, Joel wants to know, can you mix earth tones? And let's go ahead and answer that question right now using this essential palette. I'm going to start off with yellow ochre, raw umber, raw sienna, and burnt sienna. Some really incredibly common earth tones that many painters use. Of course, I'm using burnt umber in my palette, so this will make it a little bit easier in desaturating some of these really intense high chroma combinations. I'm going to start off with the yellow ochre and mix a bit of my burnt umber with some of the aerolite lemon and a bit of the pyrrole red, and I can make an incredibly similar color to the yellow ochre. But if I blue it just a touch with a little bit of ultramarine blue, I get very close to matching that. The raw umber is a little bit easier because I can take burnt umber and a little bit of ultramarine blue to cool it, and this ends up going incredibly desaturated and nearly matches exactly. The raw sienna, I got close, however, there was a little bit too much red in my mix and I should have had a little bit more yellow. With a little bit more time and experimentation, I feel I'll be able to nail this. But I just jumped straight over to the burnt sienna, and again, it's gone a little bit hot, a little bit pink, but as I spread and thinned the color out, I was able to match it nearly exactly. This color test has told me that maybe I don't need these earth colors in my palette. Now, of course, I'll still use them because I absolutely love these colors, and they're more for convenience than anything else. But if I was stuck in the woods with only 10 tubes of paint, these are the tubes that I'd want. So Joel, in answer to your question, yes, you can mix earth tones as you've just seen here. Now, if you want to get your hands on some of these amazing Langridge handmade oil colors, then all you have to do is check out the links in the description below. Now, if you're in Australia or outside of Australia internationally, then all you have to do is go to St. Luke's Art. Now, these guys have put together my full palette and they're offering a special discount to the subscribers through my website. All you have to do is quote the promo code. So to find your promo code, go to andrewtischler.com, subscribe through my website, and you'll be receiving that shortly. Now, for my subscribers that are inside the United States, you guys are going to be going to Soho Art Materials in New York City. They'll ship to you anywhere within the United States. Give them a call and ask for Andrew Tischler's Essential Palette. I really hope you enjoy playing with this new palette. It's loads of fun. There's some amazing high intensity colors there, and you can mix virtually everything. Now, in the next quick clip coming out, I'm going to show you exactly how to use this Essential Palette and mix virtually any color. Stay tuned for that one. If you like what you saw, hit that like button. If you want to come back for more, make sure you're subscribed. And as always, you can find me on Instagram or Facebook. But also make sure you're subscribed through my website at www.andrewtischler.com. You guys are going to have special access to bonus content as well as being the first to know about my upcoming Portraits DVD. There's going to be a special giveaway with this one too. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.